We have former NFL quarterback Carson Palmer saying he believes Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL over Patrick Mahomes. And his words are, I think Joe is the best quarterback in the league. I know Patrick is phenomenal, but I just think Joe's more consistent. He's more consistent. He's more accountable to the run. He's more accountable to run the system and the play that's called and not feel like, well, he didn't win last time and get open for me, so I'm going to do it with my feet. And then before you know it, you're sacked for a 4 yard loss because you tried to make two or three guys miss. Joe is just talk about not having a weakness. Mentally strong, physically tough, accurate, can throw it far enough, fast enough, gets the ball out quick, and then he can actually do a lot with his legs. He just rarely shows it. I think he's as athletic outside the pocket and can do a lot of the same things Patrick Mahomes has done. He hasn't done it and showed it yet. He's played more within his system and style, but I think he's the best quarterback in the league. I'm going to defer to you here first, Chase. Your thoughts before I give my strongly worded take on this. So go ahead.
Yeah, I think Carson Palmer must have got hit a little too hard that last season playing in Arizona, because this is blasphemous, right? Joe Burrow's good, but he is not the best quarterback in the NFL. I just the best part is, I giggle as you read that, because he's the best quarterback in the NFL because he doesn't take sacks. Yet the year that he took all those sacks, I think PFF charted like 50 some percent of the sacks that he took were because that Joe Burrow was holding on to the ball, wanting that deep shot, right? And the quote in here, I'm going to say it again. Well, he didn't win last time and get open for me, so I'm going to do it with my feet, right? That's the Pat Mahomes saying that. Pat Mahomes doesn't have a Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, right? And I'd honestly bet that I'd honestly say that he's never had a Jamar Chase. Tyreek Hill is a very special wide receiver, very good. I think he may be better than Jamar, but not at getting open in man coverage, right? Jamar can go up, those 50-50 balls with Jamar and T. Higgins are more like 70-30 wide receivers way. Joe Burrow, that one throw in the AFC Championship comes to mind where Joe Burrow just threw it, the big third down, or fourth down even. Joe Burrow just threw it to Jamar. He was double carded, and somehow Jamar had the ball in his hand. That's not a quarterback stat. That is 100% on that wide receiver. I think this is just something you say when you're tired of seeing someone be great, right? We've heard it all along, right? I think there's been four truly great quarterbacks in my football watching time period, including Pat Mahomes. Then you go to Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. I think, but from the 24 years that I've been alive and the 17-ish years I've been paying attention, right, 11 real years been paying attention of NFL football, I think those four guys have had at least one or more seasons where they were truly the best quarterback in the NFL. Right, Tom Brady had a couple. Rodgers has like those four phenomenal seasons. He won MVP. Peyton's undeniable. Pat Mahomes is going to own it for the next couple of years. Then you got a lot of these guys like Matthew Stafford or Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan was in that, Andrew Luck. They're very talented, right? Well, maybe not Matt Ryan, but the other people pretty talented, but they've never been the number one guy. And I think that's Joe Burrow for the rest of his career. I don't even think, honestly talking, I wouldn't put Joe Burrow over Herbert right now. I think Herbert is a better quarterback, not better team, right? We talked about the Chargers, right, when we mocked in our mock drafts. But I think Joe Burrow is got that chip on his shoulder from the media, right? The media talks about Pat Mahomes because Pat Mahomes does things that we've never really seen before. Joe Burrow gets the short end of the stick, and the media feels like that's not right. So people in the media say stuff like this to get clicks. I think this is ridiculous. I don't think there's a case, right? Burrow's better because Burrow doesn't take sacks. That's crazy.
My turn. So there is only one stat that you could go off of that would prove Joe Burrow is possibly a better quarterback than Mahomes. The only stat that he leads Mahomes in, and that would be head-to-head victories. Joe Burrow, the Bengals, obviously against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, are 3-1, right? They played 4 times, and the Bengals and Joe Burrow have come out on top 3 times. One of those, obviously, was the AFC Championship technically, I guess, 2 years ago. And obviously the loss was the AFC Championship last year. So that's the only single stat. If you're going to pick a stat to say, to prove your point, that's the only one you can do. Not this crap of saying that Mahomes is going to tuck it with his legs, run around, and get sacked. When does that ever happen? Like you cannot tell me, you cannot point to one single game, one single piece of film and tell me that's actually something that happens with Mahomes. Like you literally cannot do it because it does not exist. You want to talk about consistent? How does 5 straight AFC championship games in Arrowhead Stadium, how is that for consistency there, Carson? How is that for consistency? Okay? 5 straight AFC championship game. It does not get any more consistent than that. To beat, to win the Super Bowl, you have to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. If that is not enough for you to say that's the best quarterback in the NFL, then I don't know what is. Okay? And you want to talk about just comparing the two. How many MVPs does Joe Burrow have? How many Offensive Player of the Years does Joe Burrow have? How many Super Bowl wins does Joe Burrow have? Oh, that's right, 0. Mahomes, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs, 1 Offensive Player of the Year, and he's not slowing down. Okay, now I give kudos, I give my flowers to Joe Burrow. I will sit here on this podcast and admit Joe Burrow, besides Patrick Mahomes on one leg, is the second best quarterback in the NFL. I have no problem admitting it because I believe 100% that it is true. If there was any other quarterback in the league besides Patrick Mahomes that could be on my team, I would 100% pick Joe Burrow. The only other quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes that when he has played a full season has been made it to the AFC Championship game every single season, Joe Burrow. No other quarterback in the entire league can say that. We only have 2 quarterbacks in the league right now that when they have been the full starter all season, the whole season, the official starter, without injury, they've made it to the AFC Championship game every single year. That means something. It is hard to win in this league, and to do it at that level that many times is phenomenal and is consistent. So I'll give Joe Burrow his flowers there. I have no problem doing that. And I have no problem praising Joe Burrow. We have to get away from this. We have to get away of praising a player without trying to tear down another player. You can say Joe Burrow is a fantastic quarterback without trying to make the case that he's better than Mahomes, because it just doesn't. It just does not exist. And this is my favorite stat here. I'm just going to finish it up here. Mahomes has a 3.9% career sack rate. Burrow's is 7.5%. And you could say, Mahomes has had better protection, and you'd be right. But that's going to be totally negated by this fact here, and that Burrow has taken a sack on 23.8% of his pressure dropbacks, and Mahomes has only taken 11.1%. So when Mahomes is getting pressured, what is he doing? He's not getting sacked.
Yeah.
Not getting sacked. He's either making plays with his legs, he's doing some crazy reverse flip to a teammate, to Travis Kelce or to Jared McKinnon or whoever it is, or he's throwing the ball out of bounds. Okay, it's just if you're going to pick a hill to die on to say that Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Mahomes, none of what you just listed is even possible to do so. You're setting yourself up for failure by anybody. It's just not there. It's not there, buddy. Mahomes is by far the best quarterback in the league, and the stats prove it. There's really nothing else you can do, you can say to prove anything otherwise.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Right. I mean, Joe Burrow by no means is a bad quarterback, right? 2 AFC championship games, 1 Super Bowl appearance, right? Not a bad quarterback at all. And wins aren't necessarily a quarterback stat. We go to that a lot, but I completely believe that this is the epitome of a team game. But his stats within those games speak for themselves, right? He's a very good comeback player of the year from tearing his ACL to Super Bowl. I mean, just phenomenal player, but doesn't touch Pat Mahomes at all. And just to say that is just to generate clicks. And maybe Carson likes Jordan, or maybe Carson Palmer likes Joe Burrow better. That's fine. You can do that, right? You can pick your favorite player, but you can't have this wild idea that because you like how he plays more than how Pat Mahomes plays, he's better, right? We have to distinguish that You can have a favorite player, right? My favorite quarterback's not Pat Mahomes. Do I think my favorite quarterback is the best quarterback in the NFL? No, I don't, because I'm not crazy. And when you say stuff like this shows me you're just completely biased. I hope if Carson Palmer has a vote for any of the major awards, they get yanked, right? We don't need this man voting for Offensive Rookie of the Year or MVP. Take away all of his credentials if that's the case, right? Show this man some actual film. And I'd like to know, if he's in contact with Andy Reid, that he knows that Pat Mahomes says these things, right, or thinks these things, right, or does, if that's the play call, maybe Andy Reid's calling, some deep shots where Mahomes has to make some magic happen, right? He's really good at it. Why wouldn't Andy play to his strengths? So I'd like to know that, what insight Carson Palmer has to let us know that he's